And it turned out I needed to spend a lot of time to miss those engineers' wives, to make sure, startup is okay. Seriously, all those engineers are all fully committed. And I needed, spend some time, to talk with quite a few engineers' wives, and finally they're okay and enjoy it.
Okay, so you
need to keep your first several engineers, their classmates or wives happy. I think that's a secret sauce.
So you get them to start to join. How long was it before you had your first product out?
I thought it should have been 1 year, but I was wrong. It took us almost 2 years.
So you've gone from a great job, great career. It's taking you 2 years to get a product out. You convinced the team. How did you cope with those first few hard months? And it's not just a few hard months. 2 years of hard months before that happens, because that is probably the journey that a lot of these people are on. What would be your advice in getting to be that successful?
I think looking back, I really don't think that's a hard thing for the first 2 years without a product. Actually, that's probably the best time. Looking back for the past 6 years, because every day you feel very happy, you're very excited. Something. You build something cool. Every day you are making progress. Every day you think you are one step further close to your goal, right? You can release something. Every day very excited, full of excitement. Compared to the time I was at Cisco every day, yeah, you're right, I was probably VP. But every morning when I woke up, I always ask the question, why should I go to the office? Every day I spend so much time to learn the PowerPoint, and my PowerPoint skills are very good. Every day spend time on that. So you feel like you cannot make a big influence in the world. That's why every day you're not happy. In the first 2 years at Zoom, I was very happy.
Now, you're 2 years building a product for customers, and you're developing different features, different ways it's going to work. How did you know you were on the right path? There's a lot of other people that believe in getting an initial product out as soon as possible, seeing what customers want, how they interact with it, and iterating from there. 2 years is a long time to go to get a product out.
I think for me, I know for sure, before I started company, I already know all those problems very well. I think as long as we can fix those problems, I think, we are, onto something very, very, cool, I think. However, the problem is, kind of coming from the engineer side. Because you know your operation. However, how to make sure the engineers for the 2 years hard work, they also understand, yeah, that's the right thing to do. One thing I did is, one of our competitors, sorry, I don't want to mention the name, they raised a lot of money. And our engineer mentioned, wow, they already raised a lot of money, they have already product out there, we're still in the developing phase, we might have a problem. I told them, and I remember that's Friday, yeah, I said, hey, the coming Monday, don't do anything. Spend the whole morning or maybe afternoon, test the product, the competitor's product. They do not understand why. I said, just do that. And it's kind of mandatory to stop everything. Spend several hours to test our competitor's product. After that, after launch, they all told me that product really sucks. And guess what? They raised the 50 million. I told them this product really not good. They already raised the 50 million. If you build a better product than that, guess what? You can raise 100 million. Don't worry. And all those engineers were convinced. But down the road, they did raise 100 million from Sequoia.
And so you're building a product that you want customers to fall in love with. And as before we were talking, and now you're saying, what makes you happy is making a product that customers love. How do you do that?
I think it's very hard because I don't think there's any one thing you say, hey, if you do that, the customer will be very, very happy. For sure, everything will start from the product side. Your product got to work, right? Make sure, the experience got to be frictionless, right? The customer really, after they are using the product, they want to use the second time, they want to share with their friends as well. That's number one important thing. But more than that, so every engagement between your company with customer, you need to make sure the customer feel happy. Even they call you for very, I would say, the very obvious issues, right? Even it's really easy for them to fix by themselves. You got to be very patient to help them. When it comes to price, also make sure it's don't maximize revenue. Make sure very reasonable price. Essentially, almost everything you think about, you got to care about the customer. If customer realize this company does care about you, I think down the road the trust will be established. I think they will enjoy working together with you. Even if sometimes they have a problem, they still say, "Oh, I trust this company, and we can count on you guys." I think it's among every interaction between your business and customer, you got to make sure you really care about the customer.
Now, once you launch a product, customers start to use it, and then you need new features, you need things changed. And at the same time, you have your product roadmap of it's going here. How do you really get a team of engineers on board to focus on delivering those changes that maybe they don't think are where they should be going, and it's not inside the product roadmap? How do you get them on board with making those iterations for the customers?
I think one thing what we did a little bit differently compared to other companies. For the first 2 years, actually 2.5 years, we won't have engineers. We don't have a product manager. We don't have UI designer either. And we force engineers. They got to listen to customers, and we never get feedback from customers. We always share with all the engineers. When they build a product, if they do not understand why they added those features, we always get a command from product managers. I think that's a problem. And that's one way I think probably we force our engineers really think about everything from end user, from customer perspective, why they added this feature. Right? I think that's what we did.
So how do you develop that culture of trust and focus both for engineers who don't necessarily think about signing on to that when they sign on for a company?
It boils down to the company culture, right? Our culture is delivering happiness. Really think about why we come to the office every morning, working so hard for one. Make sure they understand the reason why we come to the office. We build something we make sure customer happy. Because our company value is care. We really care about the community, care about the customer, care about the company, care about our teammates, and also care about ourselves. If engineers they all share the same culture and value, I think when they work on something, it's not just a job. They got to think about why added two parties, to get that functionality done. Why not just one click? Make sure every day they think about it. If we really think about caring about the customer, I think it's relatively easier because they are not going to write a lot of code, make the product so complex. But however, it's not easy. To communicate with them very well every day. We never have a happy customers. Share with them why. We never some customer lost. They are probably not like some of the features built into the product. You also need to share this with our engineers. Why is that? So it's an everyday problem.
So when did you start to hire additional people, and what was your go-to-market strategy?
I think for the first 2.5 years, 2 years, we just all the engineers except for myself, I did not write code. Any other people, they do write code. And we did one thing on purpose. We don't want to have a sales team, we don't want to have a marketing team, no customer success, no support, any other team. We always want to say, can engineers build a product? Can we close the first 2 or 3 deals? If engineers can close deals, for sure, if hire professional sales, they can close a lot of deals. And we did close 2 deals. And we call it this one is a Stanford continuing study group. Another one is the middle college. I remember that. That's 1 week before the 2012 Christmas. And one guy brought a check to the office. He said, "Hey, this is Christmas gift. This is the check for the customer." I would say, "Are you kidding me? Actually, our product is still in the beta. Why they want to pay for us?" And it turned out I was wrong. Stanford continuing group, we tested everything and really like our service. It's our first beta customer. And after that, I realized, wow, it's time for us to hire a sales team because we already closed 2 deals. That's how we started hiring sales team. And when we hire a sales team, we do not have a marketing team. 1.5 years later, we created a marketing team, also did it for us.
So when you were searching for those, this is a question from the audience. When you were searching for those engineers to build this team, what did you look for? And what traits were there? What were red flags? What were the things you were wanting?
We look for those engineers with self-motivation and self-learning mentality. Only those two things. We do not focus on your skill set, not focus on anything else. Because quite often, for startup companies, speed is everything. That's the only weapon you have. And if those engineers are self-motivated, it's very easy. Otherwise, you can have managers every day need to motivate them. I think it does not work. It's not scalable. And plus, self-learning is very important because every day is a new technology, new things, right? New customer feedback. They got to be proactive. So when we look at the engineers, not only engineers, but any other employees, we always look at self-motivation and self-learning. Those two things are really important.
Okay, so you've got your product coming out into market, you're making initial sales. You must have had amazing connections from your time at Cisco. How important were partnerships in building the product pipeline for new customers?
It's not important. I really don't think so because for all the first 20 or 30 customers, it's coming from nowhere, I would say. Not because of my connection, because even if I know some connections, I don't want to try that. Because you do not know the reason why the customer they are using your solution because of connection or because of product. Right? I did it on purpose. I say no, and you guys should go on site to figure out who's going to be your customer, who's going to be your service. And after that, for now, yes, I started leveraging my network to get more customers every day. Back then, we did not do that.
So how did you get those first customers? You say from nowhere, but there must have been some kind of...
The first one is a Stanford continuing study group. That's a little bit lucky because they happened to test everything and they found us. I even don't know how they found us. But anyway, after they test our solutions, they really like it. They become the first paid customer, and every day they are going to use our solution. And all those meeting participants, majority of those meetings, say, wow, this solution is much better than any other solutions we are using. And after that, you get more users, more customers. And they become your host, meeting host. They started paying you, and they get more and more customers. Essentially, this kind of network effect really plays a big role. And for the first several years.
Did you deliberately build features to try and have additional virality in the system? Or you just knew that by its nature it had that virality?
No, we did not do anything. Yeah. And not like, if you use like 5 times more, give you free, license or something like that. No, we did not do anything. Because if you truly believe your product works, you truly believe those customers are happy, they are going to report to others. If your product does not work, I think don't try all those kind of fancy like girls, hacking, all those kind of things. I would say waste of time.
So how did the company evolve? What were the stages of the company to where it is today?
I think it is after you have first to see 100 customers, you got to focus on scaling your business. You need to have marketing team, you need to have customer success support. I think just be patient. Don't hide all those teams on day one. Don't make any sense. Also, don't hire all those very experienced managers or leaders. Also, don't make any sense. Only hire those people with great potential. Hopefully, they can grow themselves along with the company grows. So in our case, after we have a lot of customers, we started doubling down on our support team, our customer success, and it boils down to one thing. We need to focus on company culture. Otherwise, we have 500 employees or 600 employees, but now we almost have 700 employees now. If your culture not good, no matter what you do, I think it's not sustainable. Very soon the customer not happy, and you have a lot of issues. You cannot focus on customer side. you got to do kind of every day the people-related issues. If your company culture not good, so it's just to focus on the company culture. When you grow your business to a level, you think, just to focus on the execution, right? Otherwise, all those people-related issues will cost you a lot of time.
So, question from the audience: how long did you wait till you hired that growth marketing team and refocus on revenue?
I'm sorry?
How long did you wait until you hired that growth marketing team and started focusing on revenue?
I think not too long. And as I mentioned, after we have first several paid customers, we started establishing our sales team, and always every quarter, every month, look at the pipeline. Right, every quarter, every month, pipe more and more and more. I think just more organic growth. If you look at your incoming leads, right, how many potential prospects in the pipeline, look at your sales rep, right, you have enough rep to close those deals or not, right? Just every quarter, every month, just add more and more.
So another question: there are lots of competitors out there in the market, as you said at the start. But what was your secret sauce for success?
Let's focus on customer, right, and make sure customer happy. Customers customer very smart. They tried all those solutions by themselves already. If your product really works better than any other solutions, be patient. You can guarantee. Just be patient. Otherwise, if your product does not work, I think don't do anything. Take a step back to make sure the product works. That's the number one important thing. After that, also keep focusing on innovation. Make sure to add more value to customers. I think down the road, whenever you establish the trust between your company and the customers, I think that will be sustainable. I think in a very crowded market, I think we always focus on the customer side. That's why we always measure our NPS score. Every quarter, our NPS score is 69. Highest, compared to any other solution. That's why we know we are okay.
So talk to me about the funding rounds. When did you go for different funding rounds, and how did you set those targets?
I think it's very tricky because there's so many VCs, investors in Silicon Valley. As a lot, probably this is the best place if you want to raise money. However, it's really hard to find the right partners, right VCs, because they all probably tell you they want you to invest in you, right? However, quite often they just invest in your business. On day one, they like you. If your business did not do well and have a problem, guess what? They might get another CEO. Because they also look at it from their perspective. They want to make sure they get the right ROI. And in our case, we really, really wanted to, get those VCs or investors who would like to invest into me, not my business. Because quite often you might pivot your business. The business can go, up and down, and if you have those VCs who really wanted to invest in you, I think you are lucky, right? So that's why we take a very patient approach, and our A round and also the C round, just some friends, and also the corporate VC like Qualcomm Ventures, Jerry Young's, Emmy Cloud Ventures, and the B round also the family fund, the Horizon Ventures in Hong Kong. And the C round is, I would say, the emergency capital. This is great. We only focus on the software service. And the last one, for sure, we wanted to take the best VC for let's say Sequoia involved. Step by step. Your C round, A round. Ideally, you only go with, I would say, the top VC, right? Unless you know the work, unless a partner really wanted to invest in you, right, rather than your business.
What do you see as the evolution of your company? Where you raised a lot of money. How do you see your company evolving?
I think one thing, we got to make sure, one thing we want to keep is don't involve, too much is make sure every day focus on the customer side. Make sure that the delivery happens to the customers. And when you further grow the business, sort of I become more and more dependent. Because only had 10 employees, 50 employees, it's relatively easy. Now you have 600 or 700 employees, anything could happen, right? That's why I say you got to sort of plan well, ahead of time. If that happens, what are you going to do, right? And you got to make sure think ahead of time. I think that's probably the changes for us.
So you said you were doing this because it was fun.
Yes, absolutely.
And you said the really fun part was the first 2 years. What's fun about it now compared to earlier, and what keeps driving you?
And for the first 2 years, you know something cool, ahead of you. You do not know what's that. That's why every day you think about, what's the first product look like? Who will be the first customer? That's why you're full of excitement, right? But after that, you know the answer, right? That's why you sort of, the fun part is sort of is gone. But however, I think, down the road, we want to make sure, everybody in the world, they are going to use Zoom. If that's the case, we feel very happy. If you keep your customer happy, you will be happy. That's very sustainable. And every day think about how can we get more customers. On the one hand, we want to win. On the other hand, we know for sure like customers that are using other product. And from our perspective, that's important. You better switch to our platform, right? I feel like we can have a big positive influence to the world. That's why I'm very excited every day.
What do you see as the next stages for this? Is it AR, VR? Is it, will people still be, is it more on the phone? What are the things that you see changing where your business is?
Yes, so for sure, there are a lot of technologies, right, like artificial intelligence, AR, VR. I think, it's very important. But however, the most important thing is make sure how to leverage those technologies to improve the product experience, improve the customer experience, right? Take artificial intelligence, for example. So every day, when it comes to video conferencing, audio and video quality is very important. Our engineers, they are using the machine learning technology to keep improving our video and audio quality. And it's for sure, it's really have a customer side, but we did not talk about that much. But technology-wise, that's AI technology. Right? I think it's very, very important. Also, AR, VR, also next Tuesday, our first user conference, we're also going to announce something cool, right? To partner with some AR, VR, hardware partners, to deliver a very cool experience, right? To leverage Zoom, to have an integration with the AR platform.
As you said, it's you left. You set up your new platform. How do you monitor for new companies coming into the space that might eat your lunch next year?
Overall, that's good actually. If you can build another company, can build a much better solution, and let a customer feel even say, wow, this is even better than Zoom, that's good to say. Because overall, you cannot be too selfish, right? If whoever can build a better solution to make the customer happy, I think that's the right thing to do. And also will force you to work hard, right? Maybe next year you get a much better solution, we go back and work harder, right? 2 years later, we can build something better. I think this overall, that's good. That's a way to make the world a better place. Otherwise, if you do not have a very, I would say, the top competitors, probably you are not going to get them, right? Your product will not be improved. I think overall, the competition is always good. We drive you work harder, to make sure that the customer, they stay with using your product.
How much of the current product did you have in your mind on the first day when you started Zoom?
I think probably 70%.
And where did the other 30% come from?
Based on the customer feedback.
How much of your time do you spend on customer feedback every day? How do you proportion your day?
I would say around 60% time, because I spend 60% time talking with customers. Essentially, on the one hand, try to take care of the existing customers. Sometimes also spend the time talking with a new prospect. Right? More than 50% time every day. I have multiple meetings every day. I think every meeting with customer, you learn something new every day, every time. So, and based on those feedback, why the customer think about this way, why they do not use that feature, why they think about other things, right? So you try to understand what's going on, and then you can influence your team to make sure the roadmap is right.
So when you first started this, you had your small team of engineers. You would, whether they liked it or not, they'd be speaking to customers. And how have you maintained that customer-focused culture as you move forward?
I think it's very hard, but you got to talk about it every day. Small meetings, chat, all hands meeting, always say whenever customer sending very good very positive feedback, you should share with all the employees. And if something goes wrong, if customer cancel, you got to also share that as well. I do not think that's any one thing. You see, if you focus on that, you'll have a good culture. It's not like that. From hiring, you hire the right employees, and every day you talk about that. Essentially, this is a big work. Even if you think you have a great culture, if you do not focus on that, the next quarter, next month, we're likely to lose that. You got to focus on that every day. It's because you hire a lot of new employees, right? And if you do not focus on that, very soon you also have a problem.
So what are some specific things that you do to make that culture happen? And what are some successes and some failures you've had in it?
I think a lot of the small things, right? So as I mentioned earlier, we focus on the self-motivation, self-learning. Right? One thing we really want for our employees, whenever they have time, free time, they got to buy a book, read a book, try to learn something. Right? So we always reverse the books. Nobody buy it for yourself or buy it for your family member, because it's part of the things is self-learning, right? And also, every day we think about how to make sure deliver happiness to each other. Always care about each other. A lot of small things, right? For sure, we have a lot of the Zoom T-shirt. Every day you feel proud of that, right? And also, the managers, our management structure is very flat. We just very flat, and make sure that every employee know that. My office door is always not just scheduled meeting. Anytime stop by, whenever they have questions. I think a lot of small things like that has let the employee feel like, wow, this is a company I wanted to work for.
How are you going to manage that as you open up new offices? Like, surely eventually you're going to have multiple offices, multiple locations. How are you going to manage that, maintain that culture?
First of all, for the first week, and we always all the employees went from other cities, Kansas or Denver or San Paulo. We have other remote employees as well. First week we always fly here into our headquarters, Somerset, have a first week training, and talk about the company history, company culture, and then see what other the teammates as well. And after that, we just use Zoom. Every day, they are not in the same office. I just one click, I talk with anybody. I feel like in the same office, and I really do not feel like they are in the remote office. That's why a lot of the customers told us after they deployed Zoom, they realized one thing: the company culture has changed. Especially for the remote side employees, they feel more engaged, and this is really important. I did not realize that actually. Quite a few of our customers told us, but after they knew that, and then looking back, I would say, yes, that's right. Because we have a lot of remote-side employees, we feel like we're part of the headquarters. I do not feel like they are in the Santa Barbara or Kansas City.
So this
sounds... By the way, sorry, that's not a sales pitch. That's something really good.
So this sounds like a utopia for some people, and it sounds like a nightmare for some other people. Have you found people that you've hired who just said, I don't like this?
Fortunately, I did not see a single employee who did not like this. And they all, before we hire them, we already share with them, right? This is our culture, this is how we started, and you have freedom, right, to join us or join any other companies. We put everything on the table, right? We do not want to hire somebody just say, want to hide something. We keep everything transparent. By the way, the back to the culture, whatever we're doing, I think that in terms of making a decision, anything, we keep that very transparent. We share with the employees in all hands meeting. I never wanted to hide anything. As long as you keep that transparent, I think that you got to trust the employees. They're pretty smart. They know they should join your company or join other company. I think this transparent is very important.
So how do you balance focusing on enhancing existing features or creating new features?
I think it really depends, because you really want to make sure your existing customer happy. And they see if you have two features, one is requested by the existing customer, another one probably requested by the new customer. We always prioritize the existing customers and make sure the existing customers are very happy. and then, add those features, try to pursue the new customers.
So, gender equality has been a hot topic in the Bay Area, certainly in the media. How do you, what's your take on that? And what do you think leaders should do about it?
I think it's interesting. I think we do not have that problem. I even wonder why other companies have that problem. I really don't understand it, actually. Because our company culture is really care about each other. Like, we never hire employees, if female employees, male employees. I think it's really respect everyone, right? And we really kind of, as long as see you are self-motivated or self-learning mentality, we want to, hire you, but we really want you to come to Zoom to join us and respect everyone. We have a lot of female employees on the sales team, in our product team as well. I think, at least from my perspective, as maybe my age, right? So I do not think that's a problem, at least from my perspective. I do not have any bad experience before this. I quite often don't understand what had happened in other companies. Maybe actually because on day one we have right culture, right? Because we care for each other, respect each other, deliver happiness to each other. That's why we don't have that problem.
So a question from the audience is, how do you resolve conflict between engineers and managers?
You mean the engineer managers or product managers?
Who asked that question?
I did. So between the quality engineers and the managers, product managers.
Product managers, yeah. Right? That's a great question because on day one, we know that's going to be a problem. That's why for the first 2.5 years, we don't have product managers. We only have engineers. We try to avoid that problem. And I think it's hard to see sometimes engineer problem or product manager problem. I think you got to do case by case. Really try to understand what's the exact problem, why they have different opinions. And then, try to see, maybe the products manager has a problem, maybe engineer has a problem. It's really hard to see, as we got to be case by case. But if you could start a company for the first 1 year or maybe 2 years, if you can, you just hire engineers. Ideally, those engineers also understand the product. That's the best scenario. Otherwise, it's hard. Every day you need to, bring the engineers, product managers to the office to see who's the problem, and spend a lot of time on that. I would say ideally avoid that.
Do you have conflict must arise. Do you have some kind of conflict resolution process within the company?
Yeah, we do, and so quite often have different opinions because asking. However, we also have a company philosophy, the slide that, whenever we have different opinion, try to escalate always, go back and see what's the problem, what's the root cause, what's the solution. And whenever two people have a different opinion, I would say, hey, tell me the problem. Make sure those two are on the same page about the problem. And then each side will tell me what's the root cause from your side. If they're also on the same page, great. That's three of us working together on the solution. Quite often you find one thing interesting. The reason why they have a different opinion or conflict, they talk about a different problem. Or even the same problem, both sides they have different root cause analysis. After you kind of have to understand the problem and the root cause, before you talk about a solution, they're already very happy. They will come up with their own solution, even if not even involved.
So as the sales team has grown, what proportion of your revenue comes from outbound as opposed to inbound, and how has that changed?
It's very consistent, in our case. I think most of the revenue coming from the inbound leads because we have a freemium product. That freemium product works very well, and we have a lot of income leads, from free users to paid users to paid users to the big enterprise level. And today is still by and large, most of the revenue is coming from inbound leads.
So for SaaS businesses, one of the huge problems is converting people from free customers to paying customers. How have you been successful at that?
Interesting enough, actually, our free product is, I share the story. So our free product is one-to-one is always free. when it comes to more than a group video conferencing, most of the features also free, but we limited the meeting duration to 40 minutes. And we think a lot of customers, they are going to, probably use a free product and then come to pay. But also a lot of the companies, they don't want to have long meetings, and they always use our free product. And that's why sometimes our conversion rate is not good. We take a step back to understand why. They say, yeah, we really like your product. I think the free product is already good enough. And however, the big, large enterprise customers, for sure, they wanted to convert to paid. They do not want to have a 40 minutes limitation. So in terms of active user conversion rate from free to paid, I think our conversion rate is very high. It's way high above the industry average.
Okay, so this question has 5 clusters, so everyone wants to know it. What's the difference between how Zoom was differentiated from other tools in the marketplace, and was there a killer feature for that?
The killer feature is it just works. Yes, seriously. And this is coming from many customers' feedback. It just works. If you use other product, especially for the very important meetings, it does not work. And you are very frustrated because you schedule a meeting, at 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 people from the customers, partners, when you try to start a meeting, it does not work. Either audio is choppy or video is, the blurry, and just does not work. In our case, very consistent. The quality is good. It just works. I think that's a key differentiation.
How do you actually do that, reach out to other customers? How do you survey them, and what tools do you use to get started?
So on day one, we already know that we really want to get the feedback from the customer side, right? So every meeting after you leave the meeting, we pop up something. Hey, do you have any feedback? Do you want to share anything with us, right? We build that feature into our product. Otherwise, every customer is very busy. After they finish using your product, they need to go to other website to find out how to submit a ticket or do something. I think this is a very difficult experience. Ideally, make sure add the feedback into your product. Whenever the customer they are ready, immediately sending the feedback. We got a lot of feedback because of that feature. We call that e-meeting feedback.
You left Cisco, a big company, start your own company. What have been the surprises along that journey?
I should have left earlier.
And looking back at the starting period, what would you do differently if you were starting again that you learned from this?
I think still be more patient. I think we should not launch our product in 1.5 years. Actually, lost alpha beta. Probably should take a step back to make the product better. Because looking at the features we are doing today, we found is the foundation. Is still very important. If we start over, probably for the first 2 years, just focus on product side, don't be eager to release the product to customer side, especially for our product. It's not something that brand new. It's a very crowded market. You really want to make sure the product really works well, and you got to spend a little bit more time. I think we probably a little bit harder.
Do you plan to evolve the company with integrations with other businesses, and where do you see that going, or will you just stick with where you are?
In terms of product integration, for sure, right? We want to integrate with other product, like Slack. Salesforce, any product integration. But if you talk about business integration, yes. But however, we want to be the long-term sustainable independent company, right? Otherwise, you are going to lose your fun part. So, and we had that experience before. So,
when you say you had that experience before, tell me about that.
WebEx got acquired by Cisco back in 2007. For the first 12 months, it's a great experience, more like a honeymoon. And after that, you lost the fun part because for a lot of things very important, you want to make a decision, you cannot make a decision, and it's really hard. Speed is very slow. It's nothing wrong about that. For big legacy companies, you cannot kind of focus on speed. right? It's very, very important. For startup companies, you got to focus on speed. I think it's, if you really want to enjoy the fun part of the business, you got to, enjoy start a small company.
Okay, so you left the company, you got some investors on board, and you're building this business. And it sounds like you hate the idea of selling it. So for the investors, what's the exit strategy? And where's the future of the business where the CEO hates the idea of working for another company?
So that's why before you get money from any VC or investors, you should share with them, hey, what's your goal, right? What's your dream about, right? And you should tell them, hey, make sure I'm not going to sell the company or go public in the next several years. Make sure they're still okay. That's really important. Let them know beforehand. And if someday go public, that's okay. But that's not your goal, right? Your goal is make sure fully focus on the customer experience. And if someday something good like going public, I suggest that I would say buy a product. You cannot focus on that. That's not your destiny. If you go public, so what? It's just you still need to make sure that keep innovating, right? Keep getting more customers, right? Everything else is the same. You probably get more pressure from Wall Street, right? I do not think there's a lot of benefit to go public early. So.
Okay, so how hard is it for engineers to start their own business, and what advice would you give for them?
On the one hand, very hard, because if you only focus on the engineer side of work, you do not understand the customer side of the problem. It's very hard. However, because every day you are writing the code, you also understand why a customer needed this feature. It's very easy because essentially, even if you are engineers, essentially you're also the product manager. Keep doing that every day. And down the road, you can start a company very easily because you understand the customer problem. And you also know, any other solutions, they cannot truly fix that problem. If you can come up with something new that can fix that problem, I think it's time to start a company. And always think about, I think that's the best case is for engineers to start a company. Because you are writing code, right? Otherwise, you need to convince a lot of other engineers to write code.
So I'm going to get this quote probably wrong, but I think it was Henry Ford that said if you asked customers what they wanted, they would want faster horses. And he made cars. So when you're really focused on customer feedback, how do you make sure that you're getting the right customer feedback and making the right product, rather than just making a product that they say that they want, but not actually what they need?
That's a great question. Quite often when customers send you feedback, most of the time they already tell you the solution. They say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Then don't take that. You should take a step back. Ask about why you ask for that feature. And what kind of problem you try to address, right? If you take a step back, quite often you find, the solution they give to you, the feature request, is kind of totally different. They try to fix another problem. And if you go take a step back and understand the problem the customer they are having, and then leverage your knowledge and then come up with a new solution, that's best. Otherwise, whenever a customer tells you something, just do it. I think quite often, you might focus on the wrong things.
Where do you get your inspiration from to stay motivated? Is there a book you can recommend? Is there something that you follow? How do you keep that motivation?
For sure, if you have a hobby to read books, this is great. There's so many wonderful books, right? Every month you read a new book,
What's been your favorite one in the last 12 months?
Last 12 months I have quite a few, and I recently just finished a book. It's the Nike, the founder, the Phil Knight. His book is Show Dog. I think that's a wonderful book.
And why? But for those who don't know, what's wonderful about it?
You saw that this Nike is very, very great brand. I never thought about that in the first several years. It's very tough, very hard. Probably, their journey even tough, much more difficult than any other startup company here. And at that time, when we say they either loan the money from the bank, and then their bank does not want to loan the money to them, right? You can find another bank. It's a very tough journey. But however, they manage them very well. I think even to compare the problem you are experiencing for your startup compared to the back then, I think we are very lucky. We're very lucky. That's why that book is great. That's one book. Yeah.
So video conferencing has been around for a long time. There's many different types of company with using it. What do you see as the next quantum leap in technology that's going to move things forward?
You mean the video conferencing?
Yes.
I think, we truly believe that down the road, when it comes to communication, every communication will be attached to this video. The pure audio conferencing will be gone. Like I call you, I talk to you, I cannot see your face. I think that's probably the old fashion. And I truly believe, video and will be everywhere. So down the road.
But I like doing calls in my pajamas.
But other people also want to see that as well.
What advice would you have for startup founders, given the success you've had? What would you tell them to do, and what would you tell them not to do?
I think I do not think we are already a successful company. I think the success is just that I do not think that's really important, number one important thing. The most important thing is you've got to focus on happiness every day. Otherwise, down the road is, based on other people's, the American company say, with a bigger one, go public, you wanted to celebrate. Guess what? You only celebrate one day, or maybe 1 week if you are crazy enough. However, every day there's a journey. You got to enjoy that. If you do not enjoy that journey, don't do that. Only until you really like that every day, you feel like I'm very happy if I join a startup company, I'm building a new company, then do that. Otherwise, I can go back, work for the big company, get a good paycheck. That's okay too. Otherwise, why you see a lot of other people they start a company, you all also want to do that. I think it may not be, may not work for you. You got to ask the question, do I feel happy or not? Every day. That's really important. Happiness, that's the purpose of life. It's not like a startup.
Wow. You're already happy. That's great. So, are you gonna? So, to reword this, are you going to spread the happiness? There's a great trend in tech companies to become a platform. Slack's done it. Salesforce has done it. You become a platform company. You open up a partner ecosystem. Is that something that you're going to do?
Yeah, we are trying that as well. We announced our SDK, the platform, trying to let other companies build a solution upon our platform. See, like healthcare, the telehealth, telemedicine, startup companies, they can build a solution with their healthcare logic and workflow, and with our platform. We are trying that now. So, however, we do not know how successful it will be in the future. But for sure, it's something we want to try.
Does a cultural fit matter to you in the partners that you look to work with in those technology companies?
Yeah, it works very well. Like Slack, for example, they are our customer, right? And we realize that we are very good partners, and they have a very good open platform, and a lot of startup companies can build a solution upon that platform. I think that's good because that platform really have a lot of other companies, right? Because in Silicon Valley, startup valley, right? We got to help each other. Overall, as long as we can help each other to build something cool, I think that's always the good thing.
If you thought a company wasn't doing good, wasn't adding happiness, would you not work with them?
Absolutely, yes. Because why I want to join a company every day when I wake up and say, gee, why should I go to that company? I feel very bad, and I think back to why you want to work for that company. You got to have a reason. Right? It's not for the money, because there's so many companies, right? If it's just for money purpose, you can work for a lot of other companies. Really find a company have a passion. I think that's very important.
So, question from the audience: how did you make a great product without product managers? Because someone has to steer the ship. Was it you were the product manager? You were steering the ship?
I created a little bit role for sure as sort of the chief product officer because all other people are engineers. This way also will force engineers. They do not have a product manager, guess what? They need to be a product manager. Right? Force them to think about it from a product manager perspective. And on day one, they do not like it. They say, yeah, where's the PRD? Why you do not give me PRD? I cannot write a code. You still need to write code without PRD. They need this way will force them to think about it from a customer from a product perspective. And then down the road, actually, almost every engineers, they sort of become the product managers to some extent.
Now, as the company's growing, you obviously you've got a huge workload. How do you manage? You have a family,
Yeah.
and you have this hugely fast-growing company. How do you manage balancing the two?
I don't like the word balance, actually. It's really hard. That's why I say, whenever anyone asks me this question, I would say, don't think about a balance. There's no balance. If you really like your work, the work is life. If you really enjoy the family in life, that's work as well. Meaning, work and life are the same thing. Because you have a passion. When I in the office, work on something, I do not think that's work. I enjoy that. If you let me do something else, I will not feel happy, right? However, you got to communicate well with your family, right? Like today, it took me almost 2 hours from sunset here. I already told my wife, sorry, you got to pick up kids. I also told my son as well. But as long as you communicate well with your family member, and plus you like your work, I think there's no need to think about a balance. If you think of a balance, you got to take a step back. So meaning you do not have a passion yet. You're not ready to join or start a company. Seriously, this is the one thing. Because I sometimes also invest in companies. If you start to think about a balance, I think mentally you're not ready.
Do you ever feel that you miss some of your children's lives?
I did not miss anything. Because my school son, he likes playing basketball. And this is the 7th grade. He's a junior now. I only missed one game. I did it on purpose. Seriously, that gave me San Francisco happened to be their school varsity team. And he transferred to another school. And his shooting skill is pretty good. But however, performance is not consistent. I feel like maybe I gave him too much credit after the game. For that game, I said, I'm not going to join. And that's fine. Focus on the next season, do whatever is required, just do it. Guess what? That game they played very well. They made it 17 points. And I only missed that game. I think I did not miss anything because if I really think that important, I feel very happy. I just put that in my calendar. I just enjoy.
So as a successful father, do you feel like that does put a lot of pressure on your kids? Do you feel like you're setting a really high bar for them to match?
I don't think so. I never told my kids, I only tell them one thing, hard work will get well paid off. I tell them I'm working very hard because likely I have a passion. If they got to find their own passion, and then work on that, work very hard. That's every day I tell them. But sometimes, hopefully they can get it. And, I'm not sure, but I'm not saying, I set up a lot of pressure for those.
Eric, this has been a fantastic session. We've taken a lot of questions from the audience. I'm inspired by your passion. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Another huge thank you. That was amazing. I learned a lot. One tradition that we have here at Startup Grind is to tell the people around you how you can help. This is not an opportunity to pitch your company or anything like that. Just a way to kind of network with the group and say one way you can help someone else. So I've been in events for a really long time. If anyone needs advice on putting on their own event, feel free to email me. Who's next?
I'll go next. So I'm a contributor for Forbes. Don't all pitch me your company. But if you want a couple of minutes on how you should pitch media, I'll be around for a little bit and I'm happy to give you that tip.
Come on, guys. How can you help? Anyone?
We create large-scale visuals that tell a whole picture in one page, and I'd be happy to coach somebody on how to do that.
Thank you.
I built a system 2 years ago to compete with Zoom Rooms. Zoom Rooms actually replaced my systems in Tesla, and we were also one of the getting evaluated in Stanford group. So technically, we kind of failed to kind of compete with Zoom Rooms, but it's an amazing product. And every month we competed with Zoom. Actually, I did So actually, you did mail me to come and meet you, but I did not. But so, long story short, this valley is about like, I mean, the one great thing is about, I like to talk about my failures, why I failed. I know why I failed, like there's a bunch of reasons. So I would like to share my failures with you if you're interested, why somebody like Zoom, we weren't able to compete with Zoom. And what we're doing now to compete with, not Zoom, but in the communication space.
Good to know. Anyone else?
I'm helping a Hong Kong startup to expand business to US and Asia, especially China. So if you're interested in either market, feel free to have a chat.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Another huge round of applause.